Welcome to the Veterans View Show right here in beautiful Phoenix City, Russell County, Alabama. And today we have a special guest with us, Mr. Willie King, who's a Vietnam veteran and he was a former Pathfinder in the United States Army. So before we even talk about all the things that Mr. King has done, we want to get him to introduce himself and tell us a little bit before we get into talking about Pathfinders and what you did in the Army.
Like I said, my name is Willie King, born and raised here in Columbus, Georgia. Graduated from high school at Carl High, 1968. And I went into the military. 9 months in, I found myself in Vietnam. And I did 18 months in Vietnam as a Pathfinder. And in 3 years' time, I was out. It was all behind me.
Okay. Now, in 3 years you was out, and I did a little research on you, and I asked questions about you. Also, you build houses, or you was a brick mason.
Yes, I had to find something else to get into besides the military. Yeah, my family was brick masons, cement finishers, and carpenters and stuff like that. So once I left Vietnam, I was gonna try to first go to school, and it was something going on that was still turning inside of me, wouldn't allow me to study and stay focused. So I had to find something to do because I had a young family.
Right.
And so that's why I decided to go into construction, into the masonry part.
Okay.
And I just
So it kept your mind occupied,
Yeah.
in other words, because, back in the day, they would call it shell shock or whatever because of all the things you've done and seen. But before we get into that, we got to take a quick station break because they got to pay the bills, okay?
Okay.
And then we'll be right back to talk about Mr. King's adventures through Vietnam and what most veterans go through when they go through combat.
As a business owner, there are key things you need, like this, and this, and this. But you don't have time or knowledge to handle the marketing. This is where we can help. We know marketing, we know digital advertising, and we know small business owners. You focus on what you're good at, and let us help you do what we are good at.
And we're back, and we're still here with Mr. Willie King, a Vietnam veteran, a Pathfinder. Willie, tell us something about your adventures in Vietnam, as deep as you want to go. You don't have to go that deep unless you want to, but tell us about your Pathfinder, how you got selected to be a Pathfinder, first of all, because everybody can't be a Pathfinder.
Okay, well, sometimes I ask myself that question, how did I get selected? But it all came about once I had finished jump school at Fort Benning. I was approached by a guy, a very sharp outfit.
Mm-hmm.
He had all the patches and the black hat on, and he approached me and asked me, did I want to be a Pathfinder? And I said, well, what is a Pathfinder?
Mm-hmm.
And he was trying to shortcut it. He said, well, we do a lot of different things. He said we handle a drop zone, do a lot of repelling, and go behind the enemy line and stuff like that. He was trying to make it exciting and stuff. I said, well, I guess if you can do it, I can do it. That's my attitude. If you can do it, I can do it. But I really found out that some of the things you have to have on your record that will stand out as far as being physical fit. You have to be one of the top candidates as far as the physical aspects of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be an expert rifleman also.
Mm-hmm.
So all that was in my records. Mm-hmm. And you have to be infantry as well as airborne qualified.
Okay. Well, did you have to have any knowledge of math so that different things you do, something that your high school prepared you for?
Well, that too, but math was always a easy subject for me. Mm-hmm. Numbers just saying they flowed easy for me, and I didn't have a problem with that. And I found out later on in Pathfinder school, you have to do a lot of your math, your formulate a lot of things yourself in your head. They didn't have at the time a lot of the I guess gadgets to figure the drift, the height and stuff like that. You're gonna have a drop zone to know where to jump from, and so you won't land in the wrong area. So all of that, you have to be pretty sharp in math. Number one, and also qualify for that. So evidently I had the scores, and they approached me.
And I see you have your infantry badge, your parachute badge,
Oh, yeah.
your Screaming Eagle, and all that. Tell us something about all of these things, because I want the people to be excited to know how you serve your country and the things you had to go through to serve your country.
Well, I do wear certain badges for a specific reason, but most of I said about the first 25 years, once I was discharged from the military, I was trying to forget everything. I wanted to put it all behind me.
Right.
I didn't want to remember anything about what I did or what they asked me to do. All that I wanted to just disappear. But it didn't. Every once in a while, it would come back and relive itself in me, and I really didn't know what was going on. But it was PTSD,
right?
And I couldn't tell anybody because it was back like in the early '70s, and it was kind of like people say a mental disorder. I didn't want anybody to know I had a problem in case I need to get a job, apply for a job. I didn't want anybody to know anything about it. But to get back to the Pathfinder story, so much stuff happened. I'm trying to figure where to start. A Pathfinder, our motto is first in, last out.
Okay.
Or whatever. If you're going into a combat assault, that's inserting guys into an area. You're always in the first helicopter. You're always one of the first guys to exit the helicopter. And 9 times out of 10, then anybody gets shot, you're probably gonna be the first guy to get shot. But God bless, I got hit once, but I didn't take I was serious when I got hit in the foot. But I was probably running, that's a good thing. My feet and my head was a different place at the time.
Yeah.
But we did a lot of things. I got shot down several different times. I got left in Cambodia on extraction. I got left in the country by myself and had to get rescued myself from Vietnam. I rescued shot down the helicopter, almost got killed, got ambushed trying to extract after we finished rigging the helicopter. So much that was going on all the time. And my primary duty was to utilize the aircraft and the training I had to, if we was gonna run to enemy contact, apply the resources I had to eliminate the enemy and try to keep a body count up. And that's pretty much the way it was. Now getting back to these, the CIB, that's combat infantry. That's
right.
come from making contact, fighting enemy up front, whatever. This is the 173rd patch. That patch, I was on a mission assigned out to 173rd, and I got hit with the 173rd. I got hit in the foot with the 173rd on that mission. That's why I wear that patch. I left a little red ink with them.
Okay. All right.
The 101st patch here. I worked with 101st. I think it was 3rd and 506. I was assigned to that group during the 1970 Cambodia invasion. Doing that, I didn't know. See, the strange thing about it, you're assigned out where there's going to be a lot of contact made.
Exactly.
And I was assigned out to the 101st on a mission, but I didn't know anybody. I didn't know not one person there. I was just saying, I was assigned out. My job, they escorted me on the first chopper to run to any enemy contact to try to neutralize that, or whatever it takes. Deal with the aircraft, gunships, F-4s, or whatever that may need to neutralize the enemy. So, but on that particular day, the reason I wear that patch, I got shot down. The helicopter I was going in, the first helicopter, got shot up so bad, couldn't even land it. Can you imagine the helicopter smoking and wobbling, trying to get about 10 miles back over in Vietnam? That was my day that day. We came back to a place called Plague of Rain, and we got another helicopter and went back into Cambodia. We was able to get in that day because there was enough firepower went in that area to get in, but other troops that got in by that time. So that's why I wear that patch.
Okay.
I had to go into Cambodia twice that day. Got shot up and went back out. Now the 4th Division patch, it's green and white one. I was with 4th Division. I was assigned to that unit.
Okay.
And I got Bronze Star with that one. V device we rescued to get a helicopter that was shot down along the border. Normally we blow a helicopter up if it can, but this particular helicopter had some material on it they want to save. So we was assigned out, a 2-man team, myself and another guy. We was assigned out to rescue it, and once we did, we got ambushed, I guess probably 1.5 hours as we finished rigging it, chopped it to get extracted. We got ambushed and had to fight our way out of that. It was probably right on the border, but I don't know exactly what it was. It probably could have been in Cambodia. But that's where I went to 4th Division. But then another time, this is probably about the strangest, most frightening period. I got left in Cambodia on a mission. It was an extraction. And like I said, our motto is first in, last out. And we were taking fire, and I was trying to get to the helicopter. And the helicopter came up on the heavy enemy fire. And the pilot pool pitched. I mean, he took off because he was, probably was going to die now. And I probably was maybe less than 6 feet from the helicopter. Can you imagine you reaching for it and it pulls out of reach?
Right.
That happened to me.
But you was prepared to do your job.
Yeah.
So
I was prepared, and I was left in Cambodia in the jungle by myself for maybe a half day. But I finally got rescued. I got pulled out.
well, at that age, let me ask you, what age were you at that point?
I was 19 when I entered Vietnam. 19 years old. We had Pathfinder was the last training I had before Vietnam. We had 5 weeks of Pathfinder training here it was Fort Benning then.
Yes.
And after Pathfinder, we took a 30-day leave and we was off to Vietnam.
Got the $2,500 30-day leave and time to roll.
Well, it wasn't even $2,500. I think during that time when I went in the military, probably about $80-something.
80-something?
Yeah, $80-something.
Yeah.
And the OC's pay, that's pretty much what they were giving. They wasn't any money involved.
Right. It's one thing I want our audience to understand, because mostly veterans view this and their families and even some civilians, but understand what you went through at a young age and where you're at now, and then how that training gave you the leadership to be where you are now. Because back then, they called it shell shock. They did not call it PTSD. They did not try to give treatment for it, but now we call it PTSD, traumatic brain injury, and we treat it. And it's nothing to be ashamed of, because the same thing is happening out here with our police department, our fire department. Even when someone have an accident in a vehicle, they can have traumatic brain injury. In a home where the mother and father is fighting, they're struggling, or the boyfriend and the girlfriend, they can get PTSD.
Right.
So that's one thing we want to make sure our audience understand, that you did not have that opportunity to get the treatment that veterans are getting today. But now you are able to get the treatment and talk about these things that we're talking about today.
That is so true. PTSD was, like I said, back when I was coming, we used to hear about it. It was called shell shock.
Right.
And what it is it's those memories that come back. The instances where I was left in Cambodia, and sometimes I would have visions of that.
Nightmares
come back. Getting shot down, going into Cambodia, I had nightmares of that. And I was in a bunker on the Mount Yard Village one time. I got hit, direct hit with RPG. And I couldn't hear for several hours, but I didn't tell anybody back.
Right.
That's a strange feeling when you lose you hear. And I was kind of reading lips up for me. I didn't want to tell anybody that I couldn't hear you, but I lost complete hearing there for a moment.
Yeah.
But there was so many different cases where I got shot at, so much contact, and it was just like a regular day in the office. Every week it was something. Somebody shooting at you, or seeing somebody getting killed, or enemy getting killed, or some of your men getting shot. It was every week. It
become the survival of the fittest.
Absolutely, become a regular day at the office too. Getting shot at, it didn't even bother me. You was scared all the time, but accept your fate, whatever it might be. But I got shot at so much it didn't even bother me.
And you know, that's why I tell our young people all the time, young people, talk to an old person.
Right.
And old people, listen to a young person so that we can make it work. And then you can reverse it. Young people, listen to an old person. So that you know the wisdom that they have. And you take that leadership from what you got and the things you had to go through, and look where you're at today. Tell us about your transition to brick mason, because I had a guy, Homer, your friend, to tell me, yeah, he did my house.
Well, I was always pumped up to try something. Like in Vietnam, say for instance, Pathfinders, my call sign was Night Jumper Bravo.
Night Jumper Bravo.
Yes, that was my call sign. So people knew me as Night Jumper Bravo during
Right.
operation. They didn't know my name,
Right.
but they heard me on the radio. With Night Jumper Bravo. After 18 months, they knew I was an experienced Pathfinder,
Right.
and a lot of times the pilots knew that. And my word was like gold to them because their life depended on a lot of it.
Right.
But transition from the Army back into civilian life, well, it really wasn't that difficult because before the Army, I was through the military. I didn't want to do any more military, period.
Well, some of the things you've seen, and the things you did, I can understand that.
Yeah, I was completely finished with the military. It wasn't because of the rank, because of my view. Some of the things that I had already done that I wanted to forget and couldn't forget, things I had seen, taken part in doing, just bad memories there. So when I got out of the military, I got rid of everything associated with me except for my paperwork.
So, in other words, you had a major data dump. You
Yeah.
just dumped it
I
all.
got rid of everything associated with the military except for my paperwork. And that was the only thing that's probably saved me from the benefits because they didn't have computers and stuff to save on it. But I was completely finished with the military. I didn't want to have anything else to do with it. And I got into the masonry business. I was trying to go to school, and like I said, my studying and stuff, I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't concentrate. Stay up all half the night. I was trying to forget this, forget that, and doing a lot of drinking. I'm thinking that would help me forget
Right.
what it did.
Self-medicated.
Yeah. I was scared to tell anybody other than my wife that we had problems, and I kept it to myself for many years.
But tell me, how did that go? You know, when you had the nightmares and the self-medicating, you had the support from your wife, so you had that support mechanism there.
Right. My wife was a nurse, so she knew it was something that was going on, and she would always say, "You different, She knew it was different. She probably had some on the job site too. Like I said, she was a nurse, but she kept it secret. And we kept it in the house and didn't tell anybody I had no nightmares and stuff. And then after, I guess maybe a little over 10 years, let's see, almost 20 years of marriage, she passed away, and that became a problem because if I meet and date somebody, and if I show signs of PTSD, they was gone.
Right.
But it worked out for me. It worked out.
Yeah, that's great. And I just want our audience to know, I wanted to interview Mr. King today because it's coming up to Memorial Day, and he survived. And we have a lot of people, residents out in Fort Mitchell National Cemetery who did not make it.
Right.
And so we wanted to let him talk because he's done a lot and he's seen a lot. And so we can give honor to those in Fort Mitchell National Cemetery as well as give honor to Mr. King for being a pathfinder in Vietnam. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Mr. King, and we look forward to seeing you again on the Veterans View Show. And for you out there, we'll see you sometime this month with another show from the Veterans View. Thank you.